Welcome to this special talk at lunchtime. Our talk about the diversity of sustainability and how to make positive change for people and nature, as well as companies, will last about half an hour. And to our social community watching, you can ask questions in the comments and we will try to answer them afterwards. It's a very unique round that I would like to briefly introduce. My name is Sarah and I will guide you through this talk today. First, a short intro of our guests now. Ladies first, we have Martina Fondi, who is the head of Agroforestry at Treedom, and she is coordinating and supervising the Treedom project and NGO partners all around the world. Then we have Federico Garcea, the CEO and founder of Treedom, who was just recently awarded for the Treedom efforts with the Good Food for All Best Small Business Award by the United Nations at the UN Food Systems Summit in New York. And then last but not least, and I don't think I have to do much of an introduction, we have Nico Rosberg with us today. And I think he's known to everyone, and he will be part of this conversation today. Thank you all for being here today. You might be asking yourself, where did Nico Rosberg and these two Treedom experts meet, and why are they spending their lunch break together today? And to be honest, the fact that all three would meet, it's not very far-fetched, because all of them often attend the same events. Yet there's a very special reason for today's conversation. So let's answer the question that everyone has on their mind. Federico, do you want to let us know why we are here today together?
Yes, thank you, Sarah. I love to. This talk is to start a collaboration between Nico Rosberg and Treedom, and even more. Nico is from today part of the Treedom family and one of our new investor. And that's exactly what we are going to talk today. Because here in Florence, we are hosting the open day. We have some of our new investors, and we want to welcome all. And we are announcing our new investment round, an impact investing round with some of new investors from all over Europe.
Great, that's great news. Of course, though, we're all interested in what you have to say about this too. So I'll just ask it as short as I can. Why Treedom?
Was that a question to me? It just cut off. Was it to me? Yeah. Okay. Well, hi everybody. It's really a pleasure to be here today and to announce this. And I mean, I've met why Treedom because I met Federico. And when you meet Federico, you don't even need to answer the rest of the question anymore because Federico lives social business, purpose, and he just it says trust on his forehead, and this is something that it's not, you don't find it so often, but especially for these kind of social businesses, it's so crucial to be able to trust the company and the founder behind it, and this is something that's why I'm very excited to be a part of this and to work together with Federico and everybody else and the whole team, and to generate impact together. It's the 11th hour. And Treedom is going to be able to have a massive impact. And so it's special to be a part of this journey.
That's perfect. Impact and positive change are actually also a perfect segue to the next question. Because the topic of this conversation that we're going to talk about is how to have true impact in the face of global warming and planting trees the right way. So this is a conversation on the different levels of sustainability and facilitating companies, people, and driving positive change. So this topic is everywhere in this conversation. So Martina, let me ask you a very simple question as the expert on trees in this round, basically. How do you plant trees properly?
Well, the magic formula could be the right tree in the right place for the right purpose. And yeah, well, I can maybe explain a bit more. Well, we are trying to realize agroforestry projects all around the world with different ecosystems, with different kind of trees, with different species. We are planting more than 400 species all around the world. So every single place has its own needs, every single situation has its own needs. So it's not just a general formula, but we should realize a customized project. And this is so important for the long-term impact, because we just do not want to plant trees, we want to grow trees. We want to create impact both on environmental and social side. So this is why we are trying to plant never monoculture, always a mix of trees, local species, protect biodiversity, involve communities, etc., etc. We have, let's say, different customized approach all around the world.
That's great. So Fede, when you had this idea to start Treedom just over 10 years ago, could you have guessed that climate change would evolve like this over the past decade?
Well, 10 years ago, media and people didn't care too much about climate change, or not on a daily basis, I will say. And 90% of company were not committed to do anything for the environment and for the planet, while today is totally the opposite. So most of the people in the world are taking action to first reduce carbon emission and to fight together climate change. Considering the experience and what we have done in Treedom, it took 9 years to plant the first million trees, and it took just another year to plant the second one. So we have seen really a lot more interest in the aspect of sustainability and in planting trees.
Nico, back to you now. You're considered one of the most committed sustainability entrepreneurs. In your numerous commitments that you have in the field, how do you look at climate change and its effects? Or to put it more simply, where do you personally see the starting point for change for the better?
Well, even in the heart of my home country now in Germany, we got hit hard with climate change just recently, and the racetrack, the Nürburgring, where I had some of my greatest successes, became the rescue location for the whole area. So it was converted from a racetrack to rescue location because of the devastating floods that happened there in the heart of Germany. So it's not anymore like in the remote locations now. It's really hitting us home at the moment already. So that's why it's so important to do something now. And with all of my projects as well, I'm trying to support. So I launched the Green Tech Festival 3 years ago, which is also a place where Federico and I met. This is in Berlin, and it's all about enabling technology to have a greater impact, and to make a more sustainable future for us. So everything I do is really dedicated to this.
Great. Martina, as the responsible for selecting and evaluating project partners for the Treedom tree planting, the question is, why doesn't Treedom do it alone and oversee the projects in the countries themselves?
Well, what we have learned during these years, 10 years, long 10 years, and what we are trying to, let's say, implement every day is involving local people, local communities, because it's the key to the success of the project. If you're not going to develop the project on the same level and in partnership with local communities, local cooperatives, local farmers, those trees are not going to survive. The main point is with trees that are living beings, someone has to take care of that. That means, of course, that someone is going to watering the trees, remove the weeds, protect the trees from the animals, etc., etc. And in the end, the only way to do this is doing, let's say, on the same level with local farmers that are going to do this because they are involved in the project. They understand the needs, and they also realize that they are going to have a better future thanks to those trees. So working with the locals is not just because we want to do something also on the social side, but it's also because it's the best shot, the best chance to have a very good impact on long term, also on the environmental side. We want to guarantee our trees to survive and live healthy for so many years. So we want also our farmers to take care of those trees.
And Nico, have you been able to visit one of those projects yet? He's muted.
Of course, but it's in the plan. And especially because I have an electric off-road racing team where we're racing in very extreme locations, and actually in some of the locations where Treedom has been planting trees and crop-bearing trees more rather. So we will work on a collaboration there and maybe kick off a plantation near one of the places where we're going to be racing. So the racing championship is called Extreme E. And we're racing to help fight climate change. That's the whole. So it's also kind of it's a social cause. It's all built on a social cause, the whole championship. And so we're gonna link it up there and see if we can do something together there. Because important for me also in my involvement, I want to support Treedom with raising awareness for what Treedom is doing. Because the more awareness Treedom has, the more impact they're going to be able to generate, you know. So that's why I'm also happy to be involved and to support. And what I mean, even last Christmas, I sent out all my 300 Christmas cards, which I write personally, to all my friends, family, business partners, and each Christmas card had one Treedom tree as a gift. And it's lovely to see how, because of the Treedom platform being so engaging and so making it so tangible, you know, you have your tree, you can follow the story, you can choose what kind of tree and what kind of area. It's really engaging. And so it was wonderful to see how the large majority of everybody who received the Christmas cards, because I could follow them with the codes, they all actually planted their tree, are following it. And that's what Treedom does so amazingly. Giusto, Federico? Ho detto giusto?
You know,
Perfect.
and you talk about
Okay, we can hire him, right? We can hire him.
I'm hired. Okay, thank you so much.
totally.
Yeah, you speak better Italian than me, and I've been in Italy for 2 years, so I don't know how to feel about this, Nico.
Ciao a tutti gli italiani che ci seguono oggi. Prossima volta facciamo italiano.
Oh God, without me then next time. Nico, just sticking with you for a minute. As an entrepreneur, we said before that you would like to make positive change everywhere that you can. So how do you manage to find the right partners in this?
Well, that's as I said, this trustworthiness, you know, this authenticity is really so important. And Treedom, I don't know if all of you know, but Treedom was one of the first companies in Europe to be a B Corporation. And B Corporation is a certificate that you receive, and it's for companies that are really balancing this purpose-driven approach with profitability. And Treedom was one of the first, you know, and so this is something that's exactly what I look for. I look for, especially from the founders, from the very top, this very good balance between purpose-driven and of course also being a social business profitability. That's important, and that's why Treedom was really a perfect match.
And then Fede, redirecting the same question to you, why do you think that Nico is the ideal partner for Treedom's vision and mission?
Yes, thank you. As Nico said, we tried to put together business and purpose, and for this reason, we were one of the first B Corp in Europe. B Corp is the international organization for corporation with a mission. In our case, it's very easy to understand which is the mission. The mission is to bring Treedom all over the world. So, thanks to the partner between Nico and Treedom, we will try to talk to all the Europeans, so starting from users, but also bringing and stimulate corporation and project events to plant million trees.
That's great. Back to you, Martina, just to briefly discuss again how Treedom really works, because I think some of the audience, they might not yet know. So I think one of the main questions would be why the Treedom projects are mostly in the Global South, because also, as Nico explained earlier, we can feel climate change even here in Europe. So it would be great if you could just briefly explain this part.
Yes. Well, we are experiencing climate change, but we are not the, let's say, most heated countries. We are trying to develop our project where they are most needed, both on environmental and social side. As we were saying before, all our projects have different kind of approach and different kind of aspects, but all our projects have 3 different main pillars. So we are fighting climate change, planting trees in the Global South, also because over there, the deforestation, desertification, and climate change is hitting the most. Second, we are trying also to develop projects that are going to have a local environmental impact, meaning that over there, for example, we are protecting from soil erosion, we are protecting from deforestation, desertification, restoring water sources, etc., etc. And also, of course, the social aspect, which is so important for us, meaning that all our farmers are going to have the fruit of the trees that we are planting together. That means they are going to have those fruits directly for food sources, but also for selling in the local market, have a bit of income, have an economic growth. And we are trying to work many different levels, because sustainability is not just one dimension, it's different. We have to support projects on economic sustainability, not just environmental sustainability, social sustainability, and especially long-term sustainability. So this is why we are working mainly on the Global South. It doesn't mean that we are not going to do something also maybe in Europe in the future. We would love to do this. But first, let's say priorities somehow. We are working over there because those countries are the countries where our help is the most needed.
So with all these benefits that the trees bring, would the three of you, even you, Nico, would you say have a favorite tree species and why?
I let Federico answer. He has so much more experience.
My favorite is baobab, because you can plant now, but ideally baobab can grow for 1,000 years. So it gives really the sensation to leave something positive in the planet. And it's also similar to olive trees, that is very typical from Tuscany. Well, it's a little bit different trees, but the powerful that I feel when I'm close to an olive trees or baobab sometimes is similar.
Yeah, nice.
Martina, what would you say is your favorite species?
I change favorite every week, just to be honest.
Depending on the availability on the e-commerce.
Well, kidding. We plant more than 400 species, so we have so many trees. But one of my favorite trees is the moringa trees. The moringa is quite planted all around the tropical countries, and it's called also the miracle tree, because it can offer so many benefits. They are saying that it's giving more than 100 different benefits, because it's very helpful for food, because the leaves are very, very healthy and rich in protein and also in every kind of nutrition. So, and also is a very good tree for the soil, for the protection of the soil, for fertility, for animals. So a very multi-purpose tree.
Also drinkable water, right?
Yes,
this is
and
incredible.
Also is very. You can also check. We had a little video a few days ago, I think, in our social media. You can use moringa seeds to filter water and purify water. Yeah, which is very helpful in those countries, of course.
Africa.
Now I realize that I would love to look more into that, to understand more about each and every different tree and the potentials, which is something I haven't learned to the detail yet, but that would be fascinating.
Okay,
yeah,
so we can choose a favorite species next time for Nico.
I'll take the cocoa tree, or is it cacao tree, or what is it called? Cocoa, no?
Yeah.
Cocoa.
Yeah, cocoa. There you go. I'll take that one.
It's a chocolate tree, so of course it's everyone's favorite.
Exactly.
That's great. Nico, there's another question that came for you, which is, when did you decide to invest in clean tech?
It came step by step, because after my career, I made a promise to myself that I would be very purpose driven, just like you, Federico, or try to be like you, Federico, trying my best. You have done it for so many more years, so authentically. So, and then I found this path through mobility, electric mobility, greener mobility, even to food now to tree planting. So it's kind of developed like this, and it feels fantastic to be on this path. So I'm feeling very fulfilled, really, to be on this path as an entrepreneur.
We actually got another question right before the talk, which is where you see the future of racing and of e-cars in, let's say, 10 years, maybe.
So for Formula One, because that's going to be the most interesting for everybody watching. Federico, we need to speak to Formula One as well. They need a Formula One forest by Treedom. So we will do that. No, we will do that. That makes a lot of sense. And then also, so for Formula One, they are going to stay with fuel, with a hybrid engine, because the electric, for now, the energy density doesn't allow for the performance of a Formula One car. So they have to stay with this hybrid engine solution. So their opportunity is to go with synthetic fuels. That is the path that they are taking now: biofuels, synthetic fuels from waste, particularly. And I really hope that Formula One in 10 years can play a big role in the global rollout of synthetic fuels at a reasonable price point. That's the biggest challenge.
And then, Federico, maybe just a more general question for you. Where do you see the future of Treedom in, let's say, 10 years?
Well, first in Europe, and then in US and Asia to follow. I think that as Martina said, we have to strengthen the impact of our project. So of course we try to expand our market, but it's very important to maintain the same credibility, the same efforts to make sure that every single tree will be still there in 10 years, and also to maintain the same happiness in our team, because we are doing something amazing. Our job and working together is make me waking up every morning happy. I'm doing something good for the planet and with amazing people. So Nico is now one part of our family, and we are so happy about it.
Martina, we got one last question for you that just came, and that would be if you can elaborate a bit on what an agroforestry system is, because this is the thing that makes Treedom so special. And it would be great if you can share some more information on this.
Yes, of course. So what we are trying to do, as we said a bit, is involving local farmers. Local farmers are already planting annual crops. Could be rice, could be corn, could be maizena, could be something else. It depends on where, of course, in the planet. But we can't go over there and say to those people, you just have to stop to plant those crops. They're very important for their food security, everyday food security, and plant trees. So what we are experiencing and what we are trying to do is using a very whole solution for modern problems. Agroforestry is nothing new. It's an old approach, an ancient approach, maybe even, with trees and annual crops and animals all together, and humans all together. It's an equilibrium, it's a balance, it's an ecosystem. So we can add trees to those little fields, and nearby the annual crops, those trees are going to protect those crops from maybe heavy rain or from the sun, from the wind. They are going to give fertility to the soil, so the corn is going to give you more fruits. They are going to help you with the fodder for your animals, for example. They can be useful for bees, because you can use bees to produce honey and also, of course, to produce fruits. And of course, again, we are talking about also fruit trees, and a mix of fruit trees with different species that are going to give you fruit all around the year. So maybe you can have bananas and avocados and guavas and mangoes and safu and local fruits that we never heard about, but they are going to be very helpful, because so you can have some kind of food sources and also income sources, because the cacao trees, for example, that Nico loves, and me too, is going to help the farmers, because they are going to sell those fruits to the market, and they are going to have a little income to push the economic growth for the social aspect. So again, an agroforestry system is just a balance, an ecosystem between animals, humans, trees, and annual crops. Because in the end, what I'm always saying is that we do not have to save the planet. We have to save mankind. We have to save ourselves in a balance with this planet, because we do not have another planet where we can go to live. So we need to, let's say, maintain the planet sustainable for us, because the planet is going to survive. But I do not want to end like dinosaurs. So I want to survive.
Okay, a more lighthearted question after all this information now for Nico and Fede. And the question would be, when you were a child, did you want to become a tree planter or a Formula One race driver?
No, I never wanted to be a Formula One driver. I just wanted to be a tree planter from when I'm 5 years old. No, I'm just kidding. No, tree planting was not really on my radar at the time.
Federico, what about you? Was this your dream job when you were a child?
I've done more than 40 jobs in my life, but the dream job was to be a magician. And then,
well, now you are, in a way.
In a certain way.
Sustainability magician. Okay, we have already come to an end. So thank you to you guys on the podium today, and thank you to our social communities for participating. But before I close, if the three of you have anything some last words, a last sentence to share on how you think that we can all contribute to a greener future, that would be great. Kind of like a closing word, maybe from you three.
Well, I can start. I mean, it's just about that we all how should I say, we all try. It's about trying to find progress every day, little by little, everybody in their own way. I mean, it's not expected that everybody now spends a fortune on this, but even eating a little bit less meat, planting a tree on Treedom, taking the bicycle instead of the petrol car, it's small steps. And if we really think about it as a family, get everybody engaged, that will already go a long way. So this is something that I would like to encourage.
Yes, on my side, I will say that is, well, commitment altogether, because we have to do this all together. It's not just about planting trees, but as Nico said, we need to, let's say, improve a bit our daily life. We can do something. Everyone can do something, even in just his daily life. We can reduce our impact, which is so important. We just do not have to plant trees, but also to reduce our impact in our life, in our job, in our, let's say, economy sometimes. So I think that we can do all together something very special for this planet.
Well, my last message is, an optimistic message. I'm optimistic because I've seen in the last 10 years increasing the awareness thinking about the sustainability. So I think that more and more people are now aware of climate change. I think that all together, one tree at a time, we can improve the sustainability of our planet.
Great. And then we just actually received one last comment that maybe we can just put in the round, which is from Christian Smallman. It reads, I'm a petrol head. I love cars and I love driving, but I would also like to do more to look after the planet. I worked out that if I plant 15 trees a year, they will theoretically absorb the carbon emitted by my Cooper S in 1 year. Is this a stupid idea, or would planting these trees really offset the carbon from my Mini?
Well, I'm going to answer this. Okay. So yes, of course, it's not a stupid idea. Those trees are not going to absorb, of course, the carbon of your Mini. They are just going to absorb the same amount of carbon from the atmosphere. But we have just one atmosphere, which is very, very connected. So even if you are polluting in Europe, you can absorb on the other side of the planet, because in few hours our atmosphere can circulate. So it's just one giant system. So it's not important if you are absorbing CO2 in Europe or in Kenya, but you can drive your Mini. And nice car. Anyway, sorry.
Maybe driving less.
Driving less.
Start reducing a little bit the carbon emission, not using car for maybe just a short route. Then when you want to have fun using the car, and try to offset by planting trees and using other system.
Great. Okay, I think we have unfortunately reached the end of this conversation already. So again, thank you, Nico, thank you, Martina and Fede, for being here today. And again, thank you to our social community for watching. This video will be available on our channel later to watch it again. So if there's any more questions, we will try to answer them as fast as we can. So thank you guys, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much, everybody. It's a pleasure. And stay tuned for all the next updates.
See you soon.
See you
Ciao.
soon. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sarah.